Today I want to talk about what an average Canadian's retirement looks like. How you guys doing? Today I want to talk about what an average Canadian's retirement looks like. Obviously it's very hard for me to know what an average Canadian's retirement looks like, but I'm basing some of this on information that I've Googled throughout the day while I was writing this. I'm going to get some assumptions wrong, but I'm going to talk you through my process and we'll see, okay, if you're in a situation that has sort of similar, asset levels to this average Canadian, same age, same whatever, same CPP, this is roughly what you can expect in retirement or sort of plan around. So let's get into that. We'll see how it goes. If you have better information, please share it with me. But where I got this information was actually off of a comment off of the latest video about, the 5 things that retirees are upset about after they retired. And somebody in the comments said the average Canadian retiree at 65 has $129,000 in their RRSP, $31,000 in their TFSA, and an additional $159,000 in extra capital. That's assets, could be cash, stocks, whatever. I don't know necessarily what that is or how that number came about, because the only 2 numbers that I got were the TFSA and the average RSP number at 65. Now we're going to look at the average life expectancy of a Canadian, which is about 83 years old. More if you're a woman, less if you're a man. This is the really big thing that you need to pay attention to if it's you, is really trying to nail down, like, how's my health, how's my family's longevity, all of those other things to help you sort of plan based on that. And then I would give yourself an extra few years just in case, because you certainly don't want to run out of money. There's not going to be any planning in this video, so I'm not going to show how you can improve upon this by, changing the timing of CPP or OAS, or how you're doing your RSP withdrawals or whatever. We're just going to assume that everything's happening all at once, and we'll go through that. So, like I said, they have $129,000 in their RSP. They're 65 years old. In general, provinces haven't averaged out the exact average tax rate, so it'll be plus or minus depending on your province a little bit, but we're close. Like I said, 31,000 in the TFSA, 159,000 in the non-registered account. In this case, I'm going to assume that it's invested in some sort of balanced fund that's sort of breaking the tax down a little bit. You can save money by having more tax efficient non-registered investments, and obviously in a case like this you're going to move as much money as you can into the TFSA. Now the average 65-year-old in Canada is going to get $816.52 per month from CPP. Could be more, could be less. And the average Canadian at 65, if you've been in Canada for 40 years, is going to get $713.34 from Old Age Security. So then what I did is said, okay, let's just assume that we're depleting every asset by the time this person is 83 years old. So all of their assets are going to be worth 0 at age 83. In that case, then they're only going to be living off of CPP and OAS, and then some GIS would start kicking in. So that's where we're at. One of the things that I did with the investments, and you can get more or you can get less, whatever. I don't know what they're going to be. I don't know how you're investing. So I'm going to use an average rate of return of 4.5%. I'm going to use an inflation rate of 2.1%, so you've roughly got a 2.6% real rate of return. That means that you can spend this with inflation. CPP and OAS are going to go up with inflation regardless. So the 129,000 in the RSP, if you're depleting it by the time you're 83, you're going to be able to pull $9,065 per year out of the RSP, $2,178 out of the TFSA, $11,173 out of the non-registered account, $9,798 from CPP, and $8,560 from OAS. Keep in mind, once you hit 75, OAS is going to go up 10% if that legislation is still in place, taking that number to 9,416. So the grand total that you're going to get there is $40,774 a year in retirement, divided by 12. That's $3,399 per month. Not too bad, considering it's not a huge chunk of change. You're not getting full CPP. And you could certainly potentially get a better rate of return, which would increase those numbers, or you have a shortened life expectancy, then you can take out more. Obviously, if you're planning on living till 90, those numbers are going to drop significantly. So now we got to look at the taxes. Fully taxable accounts here, or fully taxable sources of income, are from the RSP or RIF, the CPP, and the OAS. So that's $27,423 that is fully taxable. Average tax rate on that, if that's your only income, is just about 9%, depending on the province. You know, it could be 8, could be 11, depending on where you live. I've talked about the tax rates in different provinces before, so you can certainly look that up. TFSA, amazing, completely tax-free for the rest of your life. And then there's variable tax with the non-reg. It's really impossible to know how much this is going to be taxed because it depends how your money is invested. If it's all in, GICs or high interest savings account, that's 100% of that income is going to be taxable. If there's dividends, it's roughly half of that. And if it's in stocks that are, you're not selling, you're not realizing capital gains, you can, basically go for a while without paying any tax. So what I'm going to assume here is that the average portfolio is going to be about 15% per year in income from this. So after tax, with the RSP, CPP, and OAS, you're left with $24,955 plus the $2,178 from the TFSA plus $9,497 from the non-registered account. So that totals $36,630. However, there are 2 credits that are going to be available to you. So you're going to get the age credit and the pension credit. So the age credit is $8,790. This is going to save you roughly $1,319 per year in tax. And the pension credit is $2,000, which is going to save you a maximum of $300 a year in tax, for a total tax savings there, if you're over 65, of $1,619. So in total, after tax, in this case, you have $38,249 per year for life, with an average tax rate of 6.24%, give or take the province that you're in. So not too bad of a tax rate for, basically earning $40,000 in a year. This should leave you just about $3,200 per month as a single, if you have, your home paid off, or like a really good position as a renter. I certainly have seen this work. However, like we keep talking about, and I know Adam's talking about this all the time, it is way harder to, retire as a single. You're in like a tax trap compared to couples. So couples, basically, if they're the identical people, now they're living pretty large if they're mortgage free. They've got $6,374 per month after tax for life, with just what the average Canadian has at 65. Sad note, and Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 21% of people were saving into their RSPs now. Yes. So we've got about 20% of Canadians that are even putting any of this away. I guess that number's higher because a lot of people are saving into their TFSAs instead, which you certainly can retire if you're maxing out your TFSA every year and you're young. You can make that work pretty easily. I've done videos on that as well. But that is one of the reasons, obviously, why they have made us pay so much more into CPP, because they know that no longer are like employers offering pension plans as much, and people just aren't saving as much. This has a lot to do with the cost of living crisis, and I'm going to get into a lot of the issues I see kind of in the world and in Canada in the next video, and really get into some fear mongering. So anyways, that's the average Canadian. Let us know if you want to change some things or see some tweaks or whatever. Hopefully you're in a great financial position for retirement and you're ready for it. And thank you very much for watching.